All right, we're back with Road Poneglyph. It's
Hey, everybody.
been a hot minute, but we got some Enies Lobby finale action coming at you. I'm your host, Willer.
I'm your first elite cabin boy of the second division of third cabin boys, Joe.
I'm your Afro boy whose body is stuck in a treasure chest, Bradley.
Man, it's interesting you mentioned afros.
Throwing it back. Joe, yours always gets me, man. You're so good. That's a good bit. Don't ever lose your way, Joe.
Don't lose your way. Anyways,
what volume are we reading, Bradley? 42?
44. 42.
44.
Holy shit, that's a lot of One Piece, dog.
It starts with chapter 420, a very fitting number for this blaze of glory we're about to witness.
Oof,
It's a hot volume.
You know what? What if... I mean, this is... Alright, let's... It'd be better if Bradley took us through the chapter pages here, since he's in control, but whatever. Well, that's a next time thing. Bradley.
Whatever.
Yeah, just tell us what your thoughts are, starting with this first chapter.
Yeah, and man, but before we go into this volume, I was in my truck like 2 days ago, just thinking about the chapter Legend of a Hero. I was like, man, I think that's my favorite chapter in One Piece. It's just like I got goosebumps in my truck just thinking about that chapter.
It's a great climax to a volume.
Oh my god, dude.
That's
Usopp
in this
is
volume, yes? It's not a... Okay,
No,
yeah.
it's in the last year.
It's the previous one.
Oh, it's the one
But
where he
this is-
snipes everyone.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. That shit is so hype.
This volume ends with an inferno, Willer.
Yeah.
Ooh. So yeah, I just thought everybody should know that.
Okay.
Dude.
Okay.
But that's in the past. This is this volume. Robin finally gets the cuffs off. She takes a second to kind of flex those little fingers and she's like, let's see.
What's the
What
first
do
thing I
here?
want to do with the cuffs
First
off?
thing she does, she just fucking wrecks this fool.
Good.
And it's
I think
very
Captain
satisfying,
America.
I gotta say.
It's
Because,
extremely satisfying.
I don't know. Like, it's nice that she feels like she can do this now. She feels safe with her friends here because I think in the past, before she ever got the cuffs on, like, she could have done this, but she was so terrified of what the government would do to her and her friends that she didn't.
Yeah,
But now she's like, no, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm in the goddamn Straw Hat gang.
I love her little I could do this all day. That's
Oh, yeah.
very cute.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
But yeah, so we get that fun little moment of victory, and then immediately we get these explosions. Like, oh fuck, that's right, he called the Buster Call,
There's still big problems around.
and that Tower of Law that's been kind of falling over in the background, we get it to fall very abruptly with the Buster Call. They just knock it over.
It's a great kind of like visual representation of like.
Let's hurry it along, or like
I was gonna say the justice of Spatum and CP9, where like with Robin set free, it's kind of all falling apart now.
Yeah. I particularly like how it's been slowly sliding over the course of the arc, but then just all of a sudden it's like, boom, we're moving along, motherfuckers. Like,
And man,
we're climaxing.
I love the difference. Like this page where they shoot over the Tower of Law, I love the difference between the first panel of this page and the last panel. Because the first panel of this page, Zoro and Sanji are still like playing along with Usopp, like Sniper King, you need to jump down.
Yeah.
But this is another one of those moments where when tensions are high and he's like actually in danger, they go back to Usopp. They yell Usopp.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
and we have this great moment with Sanji dropping his cigarette.
Yeah, his beloved cigarette, man.
Beloved. I love
think-
that cancer.
Yeah. And let's see. What else you got for this chapter, Bradley? Anything?
We got some good Lucci versus Luffy action. Man, I love it started pretty recently, but when Lucci's using Soru, you get these like very hard speed lines.
Oh yeah.
Upside down jet pistols, that's hot. That's what I'm into.
Dude, this entire fucking fight is just like It's a nail biter, y'all.
Oh, you get an explanation there, pseudoscience explanation of how Gear Second works. What do you think about that, Bradley? I know pseudosciences
No,
get
I
your
was,
blood
I was,
boiling.
I was pretty cool with this. I was glad. Like honestly, I think I would have been happy with whatever it was as long as it wasn't just Luffy going, I get really mad and that's it.
Okay, cool.
I thought it was really cool because it basically what he's doing is he's like giving his entire body a rush of blood, so
Yeah.
like he can go all out for like a short amount of time, which like makes sense to me. So
I particularly like how it's like, yeah, you can only do this because you have a rubber body, because if you have normal organs and you somehow manage to pump your blood like this, you would just rupture.
oh yeah,
So,
just like blow up your
yeah.
blood vessels.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
a very cool use of a protagonist whose entire body, including his insides, are rubber.
Yeah.
which hasn't been explored because we say he's a rubber man, but we never really actually think about like the actual like concept and feasibility of that in all of its aspects up until like including his heart and his veins
Gear
and his
3 is
muscles.
later in this volume, right? Or
Yeah,
has it
they
happened
explain what's
already?
going on there.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it'll extend to when we get to Gear 3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like I liked the Gear 2 reveal.
Pseudoscience.
Nice.
Yes.
Point
Good.
for Oda.
And Lucci, like this is really cool because in this fight, he's doing more than just obviously combating Luffy. He's also thinking about the situation and what the people are doing away from this fight. Because he's doing some battlefield control here. He's like, oh, I'll flood the tunnel because your friends are over there. So it's like you can go try to save them. You can keep fighting me. If you keep fighting me, they're gonna die. If you go after them, you'll probably die because you'll probably drown. Lucci's a smart cookie, y'all.
Yeah, this is. I mentioned this previously. I forget in what talk, but like I love it whenever like excessive or not excessive, but additional battlefield dynamics are like introduced into a fight like this. It ups the stakes a little bit. It makes the characters think about what they need to do and what their decision making is.
Oda's really good at changing up battlefield dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I really liked here is when Lucci says it's impossible for you to save everyone and escape safely, and Luffy like claps back. He's like, "What do you know about impossible?"
This
And
has
I really like this.
this has some good oomph at it. Right after they came back from the Sky Islands, which is a really rare feat.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think this isn't the first time in the Water 7 arc where someone talks about dreams or the impossible. And like you said, coming from the Skypiea arc where a lot of that was accomplishing these foolish or impossible dreams.
Yeah.
It's clearly had an impact on Luffy. Like he was already a very hopeful person who had a lot of confidence in him and his crew's abilities. But after Skypiea, like I don't think anything will ever slow him down ever again. So yeah, that's cool. But we turn the page from there, and we get this cool 2-page Buster Call start. And dude, fucking one of these vice admirals is just vibing.
I wonder which one it is.
He's having a good day.
Funny.
Nice.
I like the design of those. Hey, SBS.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, dude, chapter 420, it's a banger, as is pretty much every One Piece chapter. No news there.
No news.
Chapter 421 though.
Little news, Morgan. Oh boy, Gear 3.
Gear 3. Dude, this is what we were fucking waiting for. Because I'm like,
Indeed.
going into the Lucci fight, like, okay, obviously he's going to go Gear 2. Obviously, that's going to probably work, but not enough. So I was like, oh, he's got to go Gear 3 in this fight. And Gear 3 he goes. So let's see what we got going on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buster Calls.
So I love a lot about the Buster Calls orders here, where they're supposed to hold off on destroying the Bridge of Vegetation because Nico Robin is there, because she's very valuable to the government.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But Spandam is like, oh, they're holding off on annihilating you because I'm here, because they're not going to destroy me. It's just so, it's so ironic that he has this so backwards on which of them the government.
It's so Spandam, really.
It really is. He just has this delusion of grandeur.
I also want to point out that the reason they're also firing it is that it's a private agreement with Admiral Aokiji.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to say, that it's a private agreement. It's not an order. It feels like that wording is very much just like a personal decision, not so much a
protocol.
Tactical. Yeah.
Aokiji is so interesting as we get further and further into this arc and his actions.
Mm-hmm. And the story.
The default is destroy everything. This is like he has a personal stake in how this plays out.
Yeah.
And we kind of see that Robin has this newfound confidence with her friends being here and having saved her, but obviously she's now confronted with the most traumatic thing from her childhood face to face. So, she's shaking a little bit.
Yeah, I can't stop shaking, she says. So
yeah, she's allowed to. She's allowed to.
Oh,
yeah.
Then we get to see our friends in the underground passage where everyone's running from the water.
Yes.
And we get a lot of cool throughout this whole volume, kind of get cool diagrams of Enies lobby that show where everybody is, where they're moving. I don't know. I like seeing this diagram where these two groups of people are running towards each other, and you're like, oh, this is gonna get hairy.
I wonder how this is gonna work out. Yeah, Oda is very good with diagrams, and I think they're good because having a solid physical state, or like a physical feel for the locations in One Piece, is a big part. It's like a background part of the world building, because you're like, okay, I understand how this place is laid out, but I think it adds a lot.
I think it also adds it also does the sense of whenever we're doing the fights with the CP9, they have their own personal fights and they feel isolated, but they also feel together because we understand that all the fights are happening in the same kind of tower location, but they're on different floors or such. So he can choose to isolate those locations if he wants to, or have them cross between each other, like with Chopper and Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, lovely little runs.
Luffy and Lucci moved to their new location that is above sea level, so they can continue their fight. And man, whenever they start fighting again, some of these fucking speed lines are just nuts. Like this one where he's bouncing all in one panel. It's really cool how you can see how much movement he does in a single panel, just because of how fast he is.
I love how thick.
Dude,
too.
That's a thick fucking line.
It's white in the middle, so it has this sense of like cutting through space almost.
It's also merging right into his legs, so he's just one with I am speed. He's just so fast.
I am the stock market.
He's using fancy forms of Tempest Kick too.
Mm-hmm.
I like this move Luffy does on the next page that I have dubbed Gum Gum Slap Bracelet, where he kicks Lucci's leg and his leg wraps around him. So that's really cool, because that's just another thing where we're 400 plus chapters into this, and that's actually a fairly simple use of the Gum Gum power that I just hadn't really thought of Luffy to use yet.
Yeah.
Oda did really good choosing his main character, because there's infinite stuff you can do with the Gum Gum fruit. It's
a low tier fruit too, so it's the real strength comes in Luffy's creativity and his indomitable will.
Yeah, like the fucking ally robot. Let's go.
Yeah.
That shit was lit.
Horrifying ability.
Oh yes.
To be honest,
I love that Lucci. You mentioned it before, but Lucci has all these these sub I guess sub or like kind of like specialized versions of each of the skills. Like he has Iron
Yeah.
Body Tree,
Which
so
is
it
like
reflects.
focused on his chest. Yeah.
Yeah, it
I mean, they all
reflects the
do
power.
though. That's not
Yeah.
unique to Lucci. He's just
But
following
he's
a
been
line.
using it. He's been using it for like every single one of them, rather than just specifically one. I feel.
Possible. I think if we went back, we'd see that all of them, at least for most of the abilities, like they all at least have a unique Rankyaku or a Storm Leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's doing like flying finger pistols, which is like a combination of finger pistol and Storm Leg, because he's like shooting out little projectiles.
Yeah.
We do get to see on this next page the moment we've been waiting for. Luffy's gonna go Gear 3, y'all.
Y'all, what did you think this would be, Bradley?
So, I think before this point, the only thing we knew about Gear 3 is it let him knock down the big Iron Vault door.
Yes.
He turned into Little Luffy immediately after. And whenever I first saw that, I was like, wait, is Little Luffy Gear 3? And I was like, wait, no, it probably takes so much out of him that he has to turn little after it. So I had no idea what we were getting into.
I think you mentioned it's like, oh, it's probably just stronger and faster. But
Yeah,
it's very much a side grade.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that Gear 3 isn't an upgrade to Gear 2. They're just different modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And I really like that because it's not like the Super Saiyan problem where we're just gonna like, oh, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4. Like these are different modes that have different applications and different uses, you know?
So, Gear 3 is Luffy inflating his bones.
Dude.
Which are also rubber. That's crazy.
That's right. Like he can do that. His fucking my rubber bones.
Which leads to a incredibly devastating punch. That's fucking massive.
Yeah, and he's the first person in the One Piece universe to have bigger forearms than Frankie.
Ooh, hot takes. I also want to point out that when Luffy blows into his thumb, he can transfer the air through his bones.
Oh yes,
which he uses quite a bit later on the warships.
Yeah, but which I think is really interesting because it just allows him to be more. It doesn't. There's a certain like level of constraint you have to give your characters when it comes to a power system. I feel, but you can put too much into it. So I like the idea that he's able to transfer it through the bones. Because think about it, if like I have to inflate my foot now, and he has to bring his foot all the way up and then blow up his foot.
His big toe.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Luffy, I'm losing respect for you right now, bud.
Yeah. So I think that's a great way to just be able to like make every part of his body use this Gear 3 form without it being absurd.
So I love Gear 3. I like Gear 2 is the flashier, cooler one, but I think Gear 3 is actually my favorite because I think this is such a Gum Gum power. Like,
oh yeah.
Ever since he inflated his body with Gum Gum Balloon, I was like, yeah, inflation is a part of rubber as well. So this idea of bone inflation for big, strong, slow hits. Or I guess they're like, it's not that slow because he still seems to have like a lot of force behind it.
Yeah.
But like, it's a very cool side grade to Gear 2, and I think it's such a obvious place to take the Gum Gum powers. So I think it's very cool.
Y'all, I love the chapter cover art for the next chapter. By the way,
what is it? Let's
take
a
look.
Hey, I love this one too.
Between all the straw hats,
this one's so good in color.
It reminds me of the best arc, the Davy Back fight arc.
Oh, I'm so glad we exist in a podcast where we can praise the Davy Back fight arc.
I really did enjoy the Davy Back fight.
I like that reread.
I like that in this chapter cover art, Zoro's the only one without a partner, and he's just sitting there like,
I like the art that Robin is the one steering her contraption, but she's in the back state.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, that's so cute. Chopper's just mascotting it up. Man, remember how Chopper looked originally, Bradley? That is not the same creature anymore these days.
Oh yes.
He was very different looking.
Oh yes.
Back in the day.
But yeah, I think everyone should praise these chapter cover arts because they're great.
love
This is chapter 422, Rob Lucci.
Oh, cool. I like this one.
Dope.
Yeah, we kind of get to learn a little bit more about him. Yeah.
Yeah, this is his short backstory.
I really like this backstory because it is so Rob Lucci, where in the situation where pirates had like 50 hostages, Rob Lucci personally kills every hostage and then kills the pirates.
It's 500 soldiers of the kingdom.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I think it also speaks about like what he is. It's like it's about getting it done. It doesn't matter. It's resolving the situation. That was his goal.
Dark justice, like any atrocity that gets the job done.
Yes.
Yeah, and man, the part of his backstory where the attack from the pirates leaves scars on his body in the shape of the world government symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Badass, convenient but badass.
It's
It's like Valentine with the American flag on his back.
Yeah, I'm not like I kind of I love these like dumb scars because like they're so cool though. So I'm for it. I love how Lucci is losing consciousness as he's getting punched.
Mm-hmm.
Like this boy's getting rocked.
Oh yes. Y'all, Luffy does some really cool fucking moves with Gear 3.
Yeah. Just you wait.
We get the sequence where he does like a whip into an axe, which I think is really cool. It's his level 3 in Pirate Warriors
2,
3 and 4.
Well, yeah, he has it in 4 as well.
Yeah.
Besides, there's some other moves.
During this fight, I fucking love how almost terrified all of these regular ass Navy dudes are from this fight because they're watching Luffy and Lucci fly around like Dragon Ball Z characters, and they're like, like they know there's nothing they could do to kill either of these two guys.
Yeah.
Not that they want to kill Lucci, like obviously they're after Luffy, but
Lucci could very well kill them, and that...
yeah, they're just kind of. They came here as a buster call, and now they're the ones who feel like they're in danger.
It's fantastic.
Y'all, and this giant axe Luffy does, where like he jumps up into the air and you see the bubble go up to his foot.
Yeah.
I think
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's the really cool portion of the air transferring.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's just really cool. It's like there's like a small time limit on it as well, so Luffy can combo his moves if he's quick enough.
Yeah.
I like how we see full transformed Lucci here as well.
Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, we do.
Zoan users, a lot of the times, the Zoan users who aren't Chopper, we usually only ever see them in one form, but they can all kind of go into different variations of their transformed state, right?
Well, no, they all have 3 forms except
They all have 3 forms. Okay.
Chopper's the Chopper with the rumble ball is able to go.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
But the point is, you're right. I think with Zoans, most of them, when we see them fight, they go into one form. Like Kaku and Lucci are almost always in their half form. So I just like the acknowledgments. Like, yeah, I have other skills by going to my full form.
Yeah, because like the half form, you kind of get the best of both worlds. So I guess it makes sense that they would usually be in the half form.
Mm-hmm.
You get your thumbs.
But y'all, Luffy doing this thing to get Lucci off of him, and then he like spins it into a whip.
Yeah. Like Joe was saying, this comboing of attacks is really cool.
And man, these Navy guys are so terrified at Luffy and Lucci just casually destroying their warships, and they're like, "There's nothing we can do about it."
I do like how we see the front of that warship there. It's bent from the axe, so it's like I like that the attack was devastating on the warship, but didn't like one-shot the warship because like that starts becoming a power scaling problem if Luffy's able to one-shot warships at this point. But he is able to put a big dent in them, which I like.
Yeah,
it's good progress.
So while they're battling on that ship, we see one of these vice admirals make the call to have everyone fire on that ship. Everyone fire on Vessel 4, and this is it's kind of a lot like what happened at O'Hara. That one vice admiral saying, I'll do whatever it takes to stop this criminal, and
Sakazuki.
Yeah.
he even shoots one of his guys who, had the balls to say, hey, maybe that's a war crime to do.
War crimes in One Piece? Nah, son.
Never.
We have the backing of the world government.
I'm not a big fan of I'm gonna shoot my
own subordinate. Yeah, it's a bad trope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a bad trope, but I feel like
it's
this feels okay because it's
insubordination. We actually do that in real life, actually. So, I think it's in the criminal organizations where it's like, why am I working with you if you're gonna shoot me, crocodile? Get that vibe.
Yeah, this guy isn't like the head of the Navy, he's one vice admiral out of 5 out of tons of vice admirals.
Yeah, vice admirals have quite it's a big numerous bunch.
Yeah, this is just one guy.
And I think also it's the severity of this Buster Call and how ruthless it's supposed to be as well.
Yeah. And again,
by default, a Buster Call is destroy everything at the location. The only reason they're holding back at all is because Aokiji was okay, hold off on this area in particular,
So in this SBS corner, they pointed something out about Frankie. Did you catch that ever, Bradley?
No, I didn't, but it was really cool about how Frankie has 36 tattooed on his shoulder because he is Battle Frankie 36.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that, Oda made such a cool detail in his story, and he didn't go out of his way to point it out. A fan noticed it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you noticed it," and I'm like, "That's fucking awesome."
Yeah.
It's pretty great, but also it's become more prevalent as the story gets bigger. But One Piece has gotten the worm problem, where a lot of it has to be told to us by word of God, because it's at one point, Frankie will never have a conversation with Robin now, where he's like, "Yes, Robin, I am the 36th Battle Frankie," and what does that mean to me? He'll never get to have a conversation about it, but it's still built into the world, so we have to find out somehow. So we find out through the SBS. So it's just the curse of having world building so big and so strong that you gotta kind of piecemeal the information out like this.
But at the same time, it doesn't detract from the story. That's definitely. That's a cool character
and it has to be this way, or else the story drags its feet too long.
It's we can't stop the story for every cool detail. Yeah. So I'm really glad that One Piece has such a good community that we can always pick up on stuff like this.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we're in chapter 423 right now. Bradley, are we further along in development than you thought we would get? When you hear that One Piece is 900 chapters long when you're starting, I bet that gives you a sense that there's going to be a lot of meandering, but think how far we've come at this stage of the story.
That's the thing, man. You with such a long story, you'd expect okay, at least a few hundred of those 900 have to be fillery stuff, and I don't know if there's been a single chapter that I'm like, oh, this is a filler chapter.
Yeah.
All of it has just been fucking. It's all killer, no filler, dude.
There's a single One Piece chapter that I consider filler, and it's my least favorite chapter, and it was really weird reading it. But yeah, the story just goes. It's great.
What chapter is that? What arc?
It's in a later arc. We've discussed it before.
We have?
Yeah.
Oh.
Briefly. Oh. But yeah, we're already attacking massive world government and Navy facilities. Stuff that you would think that would be a late game, but it's not even mid game.
Yeah, and at this point, Luffy has a significant bounty on him and is is well known within, you said before at the beginning of this arc in these lobby of oh my god, it's Straw Hat Luffy. People know who he is.
He's a big player now.
And it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep on moving.
Y'all, chapter 423 is called Mermaid Legend. And going into the chapter, I was here's the thing. Chapter before this is called Rob Lucci. I'm like, oh, okay, I know who Rob Lucci is. Chapter before that's Gear 3. Like, okay, like we're gonna learn what Gear 3 is. Going into this, I was like, Mermaid Legend. What the fuck?
What the fuck is the mermaid?
What mermaid
legend?
have to do with this? We see the ship blown up, and I thought it was really cool that everyone in the Navy is aware of how powerful Rob Lucci is. That they knew this wouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
And man, like, I was getting the vibe that I was getting a lot of the vibe that, you know, obviously the CP9 guys are really strong, but there's probably way stronger guys in the Navy and the world government, which there are. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
CP9 is actually like up there, dude. Like they are actually very powerful.
This is a rough fucking fight.
Yeah.
For everybody.
I'd say they're like, you get the vibe that they're the strongest in this, at least in this part of the Grand Line, you know, like, they are very respected.
Yeah, I remember I was watching Super Eye Patch Wolf's video on Hunter x Hunter, and when he was talking about the Phantom Thieves, he was comparing them. He's like, let's talk about, like, what I would call the villainous faction, like, villainous group of individuals in One Piece, and he referred to CP9. And I was like, yeah, man, they, I guess they are, like, they have a reputation.
The CP9 are so much less important to the overall story of One Piece than the Phantom Troop are, but I very much prefer the CP9 just because, like, they're cool.
Yeah, I fucking love the CP9.
I mean, with the exception of Hisoka and the Vacuum Girl. I do like Vacuum Girl. Anyways.
So we see that, like Gear 2, Gear 3 doesn't last forever. And you know, it's gonna take Luffy a second to kind of inflate again.
Oof.
Little Luffy's adorable, by the way.
Yeah, Chibi Luffy.
Yeah.
And Lucci's actually relieved that Luffy didn't die in the bombing, because obviously Lucci is someone who would want to kill someone with their bare hands.
Yeah.
And no, I imagine he enjoys a good fight, as any good shonen opponent does.
Yeah.
As every good Vegeta. I'm just kidding.
No, he's not.
He's not Vegeta at all. We got some good standouts on the bridge between Frankie and Spandam.
Yeah.
And
that's true. It's good that we got this because, and Frankie stopping Funk Freed like he's trying to stop the train is pretty good.
Yeah.
Y'all, Funk Freed's so cool.
Yeah.
He's a really cool sword double fruit.
Anyways, he gets fucked this chapter. He just gets flipped over like, Funk Freed, die for your sins.
Dude, Frankie smashes Spandam with a fucking elephant.
Oh man, Spandam gets every form of like torture put onto him, and he kind of deserves it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude, it's so cathartic getting to see this guy get beat up by the people whose lives he ruined.
Spandam needed to get atomized, and the fact that he didn't is Oda being a bad writer when it comes to death. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm sure that Spandam's gonna get his cover story where he has his redemption arc at Eneru's Rose Garden that he opens on Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Okay, so
I just spoiled myself.
yeah, you gotta be careful because sometimes these theories are spoilers. So, you were mentioning, or we talked about how Kumadori had like the life return, which is if you're a perfect master of all six, you can pull it off. And I like how he's not the only one in the group who can do that because Lucci gets a leaner, faster form when he uses life return on his own body.
Dude, and like it's cool because it allows him to have a pseudo other Zoan form.
Yeah, so aside from Chopper, he's the only other Zoan who's found like another form, which is cool.
Yeah,
that we've seen.
It's a cool looking form. I'm just throwing that out there.
Indeed,
it's lean. It's mean.
Lean fine machine.
It's a green mean machine. Oh man, these fucking hits though. Like just Lucci like basically blacking out now. Like you're realizing like we're at the final legs of this fight.
Yeah,
like, he's like
I like how he's not able to kill Luffy because he's like, oh my god, I've taken some big hits.
Yeah. And man, like Luffy has legendary endurance.
Yeah, definitely.
So
It's
the
the
fact that
strongest stat for sure.
the fact that he's in the state he's in by the end of this fight is a testament to Rob Lucci.
Yo, let's talk about the mermaid legend.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what I thought was gonna go on because like there's a lot of stuff in Enies lobby where I'm like, how the fuck are they gonna get out of this? And then I'm like, oh, okay.
She's a mermaid.
Yeah.
Because like at first I was like, okay, yeah, a mermaid just shows up, and I was like, oh, the mermaid was there the whole time. It's like I don't know. This is
I want to point out that there's been some obvious foreshadowing to this that you didn't pick up on with Tom being a merman, first of all. Second of all, she's talking to Yokozuna, and Nami's like, why does it look like you're actually talking to the frog? Is it because you're a fish person? Yes.
yeah, and it's like Oda doesn't just pull this stuff out of his ass, you know?
No, he doesn't.
Not
it's
all
great.
the time. I love the shot of in this page and a half spread, or I guess 2-page spread, where they all realize what's happening. They're just so
Shocked.
dumbfounded.
Dude, I
Even
love-
Zoro memeing.
Zoro's face in the top left. He's like, "Are you fucking shitting me?"
Poor Sanji, too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, his heart's broken. He was like, "I was finally gonna get to fuck a mermaid."
Wait, that's later.
But
Yeah.
man,
Oh, Children's CP9.
oh, Rob Lucci's an angry child.
So there is a comic or a chapter called Chapter 0 that takes place before Chapter 1 of One Piece, and it sets up Strong World.
Oh, I gotta give Bradley that chapter because I have it in physical form with my box.
No,
sets.
don't give him that chapter because it has spoilers.
Oh
Okay.
fuck.
Oh,
Yeah,
I gotta give him like near the end of part
The
1.
next arc.
Okay, cool.
This next. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
The next saga.
Yo.
But yeah, you see Rob Lucci trading, and he keeps the same design.
That's cute.
Dude, look
Yeah.
at young innocent Kaku before he joined the CP9.
I'm a shipbuilder.
Oh.
I really like how Lucci always had Hattori, the bird.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
such an interesting little part of his character that's very understated. And Funkfried also had his elephant since a small kid.
Fucking Freed had his elephant.
I imagine Fukuro just talked way too much as a kid, so they're like, let's put a zipper on this kid's mouth.
This little fucker.
Yeah.
How does
like-
Kumadori survive to adulthood?
I don't know. Why is he so like he looks more hip back then? What happened to him?
Yeah, right?
He
What
looks
happened to-
normal.
why
comparatively.
does Spandam look like a clown?
Yeah, right?
Well,
What a Uggo kid.
I know.
Spandam is a cousin of Boogie's. So
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. So, something to point out is that these character, like chilling characters, are kind of sort of canon, and it's really important for one character later.
yeah. Oda has a trend of drawing young characters,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just leave it at that.
There
Yeah.
you go. So y'all, this was really fun because I think, so I got to this one-shot chapter, or I got to this chapter cover story where we see, our friends back on Skypiea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before I ever got to this point, for the past several volumes before I read this volume, my go-to joke was like, "Oh, we're probably gonna get a Naru cover story." And then we
Oh
totally
my
do.
God.
We totally get it.
Oh, I forgot that it's happening now. Sound the alarm.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
we told you this, Bradley, but we and I think it's funny because it's one of my favorite memories of Willard and I. But we literally were sitting there waiting for fireworks at Disney World, and we're just like, what was up with that cover story? Because we had a theory about some other characters that may have related to it. It not even close to being true, but we
Yeah.
went through it like, what the fuck is happening?
It's an absolute fever dream, just like this mermaid.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this cover story is it's one that has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kokoro's hot, dude.
I mean, I like
bad
okay.
takes.
I like her explanation later, where older mermaids are able to split their fin in two, so they can walk around on land. That's really cool.
It's epic.
Yeah.
I like that we kind of get a break from Luffy and Lucci for about half a chapter or so while we see how everyone else is handling the Buster Call.
Yeah.
And obviously they're all about to fucking get blown up, and they do end up surviving, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. Whenever they do get shot and they end up surviving, I was like, okay, like how is Oda gonna have them survive and have it not feel like total bullshit? And he totally pulls it off.
Yeah. He does sometimes better than others.
Yeah, I think he did really good here. We'll talk about that when we get to it.
The most recent chapter of One Piece has had maybe my least favorite Pell moment since Pell.
Oh fuck!
I'm fucking livid. The chapter itself was amazing. It was like in a cover page. You find out. I'm like, God fucking. It was like the best death in One Piece.
I was looking at that cover story. I was just like, what the fuck is this? And then I realized who it was. I was like, oh, you've got to be shitting me.
I think Pell is like the one single event in 400 plus chapters of One Piece where I'm like, no.
Well, there's already been. So let's talk about the Will of P. Which is the running joke that the One Piece fan base has made in order to cope with Oda's worst writing trait, which is his cowardice of murder and death. There's been another member of the Will of P already, which was Pagaya, Konus's dad in Skypiea. He gets absolutely nuked by a thunderbolt. That he's like, "Oh, I'm fine." It's like, God.
I remember one of my favorite sticky notes I made in one of these volumes is where Eneru has the people finish his arc and then he
kills
all of them, and I put a sticky note on the page. I was like, nobody died here.
Citation needed. I'm sure someone died. It's at least you don't get confirmation that no one died, but like
maybe one guy who was working on the boat and was like 95 died of old age by coincidence when he's dead.
He had a heart attack.
Yeah,
I'm glad we can laugh because it's the only way where I can't cry because it's so annoying. Jesus,
it is annoying.
Anyways, but speaking of that, we will get like an actual death in this volume, so it's like, as much as he plays with our hearts, when it still hits.
Oh, when he does go all in, he goes.
Yeah.
We get to see Kokoro boobs again.
Yep.
It's Oda giving that fan service that we so desperately need.
Indeed.
She kind of explains like, shit about her being a mermaid. She explains shit about her fin being able to split. And I really like when Oda does these things where Kokoro says, like, if you go to Fishman Island someday, you'll understand. And I was like, I wonder if we're going to go to Fishman Island someday.
I wonder
if we're going to see Arlong again.
There's no point in pussyfooting around it. We're going to Fishman Island.
Yo, I'm so ready to see Arlong again.
Yeah.
I miss that boy. What a good lad.
What a good lad.
I would say good lad.
I think you're gonna like Arlong even more in the future. It's just the sense I get.
Yeah.
God, like Arlong Park held the gold medal for One Piece arcs for me for quite a while.
Yeah. So Fishman Island is bound to not disappoint.
Oh yeah. Anywho, we turn the page and, dude, our Straw Hats are getting reunited with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And they are so happy. They just cannot hold themselves back from hugging her. Nami has her back.
It's great.
It's a great moment.
Zoro's the only one being tsundere, as he does.
Yeah, and Usopp's trying to get his attention. He's like, Zoro! I mean, Mr. Zoro. I don't know. It's just fun to have our crew back.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a little calm before the storm because they're about to get in a lot of fighting.
Oh yeah. I think they're just kind of going over their game plans here for what's going to happen when the really hits.
Their plan is to steal a ship.
Yeah.
But dude, we get to the Frankie family gets bombed,
They
and
do.
I was Oda's really good at trickery here because there at any time we see an explosion like this on people, there's a part of me that is actually worried for their well-being.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh no, did they die here? I'm like, okay, I know they didn't.
The emotions the characters are feeling during these moments is always real and palpable.
Yeah, like I was very scared for the Frankie family, and I'm like, they're not even the main characters, and I
It's
was
like,
so terrified
wait,
for them.
when did I start caring so much about the Frankie family? He just sneaks it in there.
Yeah.
In this moment, I'm like, man, they've been ride or die with the Straw Hats for a few volumes now. Like they've been,
Galela too.
yeah. So, I was just really scared for them. Meanwhile, Luffy he's recovered enough to go Gear 2, but he's really pushing it here. Even Lucci's like, you're gonna die if you keep going like this.
Yeah.
I believe Lucci
you
mentions. Go ahead, Joe. You can go.
I was gonna say that you get the sense as Lucci keeps talking that like Lucci is definitely putting up a front because he's at the edge too, especially after seeing that few panels of him like blacking out and almost losing consciousness from Gear 3. It's an interesting kind of like it's weird because Lucci is bluffing, but Luffy isn't. You know,
Luffy's open that he's tired and still fighting, but Lucci's keeping a facade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a good point, Joe. That comes back in my favorite fight in the series. So good on you. Plus like 7 for Joe.
Yeah,
You did it.
Also, so we move into SBS, and this SBS was hilarious to me.
Okay.
The question at the bottom of this question corner says, Oda Sensei, I've got a serious question. Aren't you ever going to draw Luffy's father? And Oda says, father? I already drew him. He'll be in the next volume. Look forward to it. And when I read this, I kind of paused on this page for a second, and I was like,
wait, what?
Because, I don't know if I believed Oda. Because, there's Oda quite often just kind of dismisses questions, like saying, okay, next question. And I could totally see this being Oda just jokingly like, yeah, sure, he'll be in the next volume. Already drew him, winky face, like blowing off the question.
But, okay, hold on. You need to understand the order of events here, because when a volume is published and the SBSs are answered and published in a volume, chapters already drawn ahead of where that volume stopped.
Oh, yes.
So that character was already introduced at this point.
Like he was already drawn at the time Oda wrote that, but I wasn't thinking about that. I was just like, I was like, is Oda just saying bullshit here to like be funny? Is this a joke to you, Oda? And yeah, like for all you listeners out there, I have read like the first few chapters of the next volume, and Oda actually has drawn Luffy's father. I'm like, oh fuck, he was actually serious here,
and a lot earlier than you thought. So
yeah.
I didn't think we were actually ever gonna see Luffy's father ever. So I was very surprised.
Turns out that you had already seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. So
I mean, wait. Let's not talk. Forget it. We'll get on it later. I want to talk about how insane Oda is with puns. Where throughout the series, Zoro's attacks have always been dual puns of the move name that he yells, but also it's always a type of sushi.
Yeah.
And like just seeing them listed out in this SBS is like, oh my god! Like Japanese is such a malleable language for puns, and Oda seems to be such a good user of that.
Yeah, I feel like every manga series is very ripe with puns.
I think I think it's the Japanese language. It's a punny language.
Let's all learn Japanese.
Okay. You first.
I was about to say you first.
You first.
Konnichiwa.
But y'all, chapter 425, the Bridge of Mortal Kombat. Oh, in chapter cover Storyland, we're just seeing Wiper and the crew being alive.
That's Kamakiri, and that's Gembu.
Oh,
our friends.
They're also, I think, in the Vars now. Like they're chilling out there.
Oh, that's
nice.
Dude. Yeah, they're back. They're back in their homeland.
I'd like to visit Skypiea now that it's not a warring
nation. Godland. Yeah.
With a sky god who could smite me at any moment.
Yeah.
Seems like a good vacation spot.
I think tourism has gone up since.
Happy would be the fucking place to be.
Yeah.
No.
Could you imagine just like camping out in a little woods area and that'd be great.
Oh, you can have that pyre with the wolves and you can dance with them.
Yeah.
Boy.
And then they eat you.
So I mean, things are underway. People are getting bombed in the Buster Call. Luffy and Lucci are fucking fighting. And everyone, like the Straw Hats, are all reunited with Sniper King and Frankie and everything.
Minus Luffy.
Minus Luffy. Everyone's got to wait on Luffy here. He's got to pull through on this fight somehow.
I love Frankie lying to him, or like Frankie reassuring himself that Zambai and the others survived, but then when the announcement comes out that there were no survivors, he's like, oh my god.
Dude, his moment of grief here really got me, man. This is some real fucking emotion going on here.
It's good because Frankie's so flashy and like he goes into like crying and happy mode, but like seeing him in despair just hits. And then you get this little flashback where you get the "we've come to rescue you, bro, let's go home." And he just looks really somber, and it's such a small panel for how good that little moment is.
Yeah, and man, after this happens, they kind of reflect on the nature of a Buster Call, and we get that moment from Robin, which was one of the most sublime lines in One Piece to me, where she, talks about people can't be seen on a map.
It's so good.
She's like, to them, like the reason they can do this so easily is because they don't see it as killing a bunch of people. They see it as just erasing one little island from a map.
Yeah,
that's all it is to them, erasing an island.
That's so good. Oda's subtlety, or like it might be subtlety, but just like his nuance in writing is understated. I think because he's so in your face wacky, and it's like Luffy's the main character, but then you get like.
And no one dies.
Yeah, no one dies. You get poignant moments like this, and it's like, wow.
God.
Very underrated.
Oda, I love you.
I love you.
I love you, Oda.
Stay safe. Great action.
Dude.
Yeah.
The fucking speed in this fight is bonkers.
Okay,
this
hold on.
page...
Back this shit up. Back this page up.
Okay.
First of all, I love this one of like... I love when Lucci's skidding on the ground with the nails. I love him going behind Luffy and Luffy dodging it. But I really like the next page the most.
Yeah.
Where you get the block with the bicep is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's
everyone
so
have a moment of silence for this page.
I just love the counter flip that Luffy does, and then it's awesome.
Yeah, I like how Luffy blocks it with his left hand, and then he does like a backhand, which is a move that Luffy doesn't do very often. The choreography is just really fun here. Oda's going in.
So something I noticed just now is that Luffy spreads his fingers apart for this catch, so he doesn't get hit by the finger pistol.
Yeah, so you can catch the finger in between, which is kind of similar when he would stretch his hand out to catch Arlong's mouth in Arlong Park.
Jesus.
Luffy gets a really cool twin
jet pistol.
He gets a cool jet pistol in here, but guys, the strongest technique of the 6 powers. The 6 King pistol,
also known as the Rakugan.
Like Oda, whenever introducing the ultimate technique of the 6 powers, is faced with the challenge of, during this fight, we've seen so many giant impacts of Luffy knocking Lucci through buildings and Lucci knocking Luffy, all around this room. So he's like, how do I show how fucking much more powerful this move is than all of Lucci's other moves? And this thing where we see Luffy's face immediately after the impact, where Oda has like staggered the line art of Luffy.
He made it. Would it be making it blurry? Would that be accurate? I don't know.
It's like he fucking knocked the soul out of Luffy here.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit! Like I saw that and I looked at that I put a sticky note on it. I was like, that's just this feels like a different tier of impact because of how he did the line art there.
It's so weird because like you've never felt this kind of hit before, but you see that panel and you're just like, I know what that would feel
I know
like.
what that.
Yeah,
It feels like your insides are getting blown out through the back, but there's no hole in the back, so they just jump around inside of you.
your entire body is rattling against itself.
Yeah.
Like, I saw that panel and it reminded me of when I was 5 and during a baseball game I got beamed in the nose with a baseball, and it's like right after an impact when there's like that oily smell in your nose.
Yeah,
Where there's like you can feel the blood about to come up. I'm just like, ugh. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of like a big football hit I took once. That's really
So Oda's
good job,
drawing
Oda.
have that effect, man.
yeah. The
These
crew's
boys
just
tired.
hanging out.
The
They're waiting
crew's
on.
Yeah, the crew's waiting on Luffy, and Usopp's like, he won't die, will he? And Zoro's like, no, he's not gonna die. Come on,
He's stupid.
Main character powers. Come on, guys. Get
But
with
man,
the
look
program.
at these. Look at this double panel of the two of them just literally at their limits.
dude. They are fucking. They really are at their fucking limit.
Rereading this fight, I really liked it just because of like how
physical it is.
Yeah, because like against like even Crocodile, it felt like Luffy just needed to get that one really good hit in, and then Crocodile kind of got knocked out. Whereas this is like a boxing match of literally. I mean,
You're underselling the Crocodile final encounter. There's a lot of hits there.
right, but like Crocodile doesn't seem nearly as exhausted as Lucci does, I would say.
Yeah,
up until
no,
the end.
definitely.
This feels like an eternity of a fight.
Yeah.
Y'all, I like the chapter 426 chapter cover art.
Oh yeah,
That looks like the softest goddamn cloud
Aw.
of all time.
Luffy's just vibing. Not a phone.
Dude, he
Yeah.
really is. He looks so comfy, and I also like this. 'Cause, like, we know that there are, we know that there are clouds in One Piece that are, walkable on.
Yeah.
So I think it stands to reason that somewhere else on the planet besides Skypiea, there has to be these clouds. So it's just a fun chapter cover.
They're in Sky Pine.
Yeah,
Sky Pine. I like how
Skypiea.
Zoro's just passed the fuck out.
I feel bad.
Dude.
Like, I'm worried for Nami. It looks like she's about to fall over. Watch out, girl.
Ah, she's fine. She's good.
Yeah, she good.
Luffy can gum catch.
Yeah, I like that cover art. It was good.
Mhm.
But back to our fight.
The wall.
Yeah, isn't this where the wall gets blown open and they can see Luffy doing the fight now?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is important because someone comes in later.
Well, not quite.
Oh.
It's gonna happen. But this is
So-
when the captains start fighting, right?
Yeah, and this is really cool. So
Yes.
there's some Navy communication going on here through the snails, and they're reporting on the situation, and they're saying, on top of the bridge of hesitation, we have Pirate Hunter Zoro and Nico Robin. And I thought it was really cool that he mentioned Zoro, because we kind of forget that, before Zoro ever even joined up with Luffy, he was kind of a celebrity in his own right. Or not celebrity, he was infamous, though.
Well, he was East Blue infamous, which doesn't really count. I think it's more that he and Robin are the bountied members of the crew, so they are the ones they know.
I think it's cool that they're using his title, though, because that's what he was known as before
Yeah.
winning the Straw Hat. So, I don't know. I think it's cool that he still has some kind of...
That's such a weird thought now in like chapter 900 of One Piece.
Pirate Hunter Zoro.
It's like,
Homeboy hasn't pirate hunted since chapter 2.
I know.
But I mean, every character has like a name underneath their bounty, and his is Pirate Hunter.
Long nose
Yeah.
up.
I guess he has hunted some pirates in a roundabout way by slashing their asses.
Yeah. Usopp gets a interesting supplement to his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the whole Navy's kind of in awe that a single group of pirates was able to beat the CP9.
Well, almost.
Yeah.
There's one
Almost.
member standing.
Yeah.
And
But,
as he mentions later, he's like, after I kill you, Luffy, I'm gonna go kill your crew too.
And it's like, that is not the right thing to tell Luffy, because
You're fucked up.
you fucked up, Lucci. Yeah, the whole Straw Hat crew can see the fight now, and Luffy seeing all of his friends going like, "You can do it, Luffy. We love you. We believe in you."
Oh.
Seeing that smile on Luffy's face, I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's there. He's there."
I like how Lucci acknowledges that they're a hardy bunch. Like,
Yeah,
you're right. Your crew is formidable.
It's like, you cannot deny that Luffy's a fucking badass. Even if you're Lucci, he's like, you know what?
You're not
Like
so bad.
99.9% of other people on the planet probably would have been killed by now. So, yeah, it's pretty badass. The crew notices Sanji's gone. I wonder what he's doing.
Oh, big dick things.
Man, we're gonna find out what Sanji does here a few chapters from now. But I just gotta say, throughout the Water 7 arc, Sanji has just been such a... He's been really
Clutch.
smart, you know?
Yeah.
He's been clutch as fuck.
Sanji is clutch.
Yeah, he's clutch. The Navy, having blown up most of the rest of Enies' lobby, is now ready to kind of move on the Bridge of Hesitation. And man, I really like this moment where the forces are unleashed on the Bridge of Hesitation, and we get to see just kind of mere glimpses of all these devil fruit users, where this guy is like turning himself into bouncy balls, and this guy like grabs one of Zoro's swords and easily like I don't even know if he's breaking it. He fizzles the sword out.
He disintegrates it.
The top guy has the berry fruit. It's like a ball version of Boogie's chop fruit, but he's splitting it up into balls. The middle guy has the Sara fruit, which is the rust fruit, so he can rust anything he touches. And I guess the swordsman, he's the ultimate counter.
Yeah. I really like this moment where we just got really brief glimpses of all these resources that the Navy has. Like, they have all these. They probably have a shitload of devil fruit users, and I like that not all of these guys need to be like, oh, I'm big bad guy in the Navy, and here's my story, and we're about to have a several chapter fight. Like, these are just kind of mere glimpses into
these are just captains, which are below the Straw Hats in fighting powers, but there's so many of them, and of course some of them have devil fruits, so it's like, it's just cool to casually see it. You don't need the introduction in the chapter. You don't need too much of it. You just need to know that the Straw Hats are fighting against some pretty formidable foes.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, just the hecticness of this and the casual introduction of all these devil fruit powers. Like, the thing it reminded me most of, Willer, is the Behemoth fight in Worm, where like there's just casually like hundreds of powered people, and like you'll just get a mere glimpse of, oh, that guy's a dust tinker, oh, that guy's pregnant with his teammates. And I'm like,
pregnant guy.
It just kind of expands the world a little bit in One Piece.
It's world building.
It's world building in the middle of a battle, and I just really like it.
Yeah.
Everyone gets some nice little panels here to fight. It's great.
Yeah, we get really cool panels, because like, even among all these like high-ranking Navy people with the devil fruits, the Straw Hats can kind of take care of themselves, man.
Even Nami, Nami is part of the weak trio, but she really underrates herself.
She's busting out.
I like how Zoro is he grabbed a Navy saber along the way, because he has lost one of his 3 swords. This is a big deal that we shouldn't skip, because he's had 3 named swords, like they were deliberately named, since Luge Town.
Yeah.
And one of them is disintegrated now. It's just gone. It's like a part of him's gone.
He's been through some shit with that sword, man.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to see. Maybe, I think we've only really mentioned it once or twice. The different grades of swords. There's like the fine swords and stuff.
Supreme swords or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Zoro's gonna need a replacement sword. I wonder if we'll get him a really good quality sword.
Oh man,
I wonder. Dude, or Funkfried.
Ooh,
That would be badass, but no, I don't think that's happening.
That would be
That would be
badass.
cool though.
That
But
would
I
be
think
Oh, I hate One Piece now.
That would have
I
been
think-
so fucking cool.
I think Zoro would hate using Funk Freed.
Yeah,
like he's like
that's true.
so dumb.
Yeah, he'd probably be like, "Can you fucking stay in your sword form, please?
Yeah.
Don't."
Yeah, why do I have to feed you?
Oh, that
just
would
want
have been a
a
great
sword.
gimmick.
Yeah. And over time, he grows to love Funk Freed.
And then
as
Funk
the
Free
helper.
dies, but not really.
Oh no, Willard. Okay, let's not think about this sad hypothetical world we've created.
Luffy takes the second Six King pistol.
Dude,
God.
the fact he lived through one, like, it's so cool that Oda introduces a move that I've never seen before and I have no context for, yet when a character lives through it, I'm like, oh my god, they lived through the Six King pistol that I just found out exists. Like, it's so cool that in one moment he's able to like hype me up so much for an attack that I'm aware of how strong it is.
Yeah.
You know?
It's also not like overly flashy. It's literally just Lucci like holding his like
It's-
fist over each other.
Doesn't Luffy compare it to an impact dial or a reject
Yeah, he
dial?
does.
Yeah, he
Because that's
does.
what it feels like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, those are the dials that, like, were gonna be the Shandian's ace in the hole against an Eru. So the fact that
Yeah.
we're comparing it to that, it's like, holy shit.
So it rules of 3. He's gotten hit by the second, and it's not going well for him. He needs the Usopp pep talk at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yo,
This is what we've been waiting for, dude.
so we get a cover page here with the 2 elders, and they're drinking pumpkin juice, boy. Remember
Oh.
that really great comment we got about the cultural appropriation of the pumpkin juice, and now they're
Dude, I
sharing
was
it.
so thankful for that comment. That
comment
was
godlike.
that's like one of the reasons we do this podcast is so, you know, we get even more out of these stories than we would get on our own.
I wish I could remember that guy's name. We definitely shouted him out in the past, but we are shouting out again, good sir.
Yeah.
God bless.
America.
And this podcast. And you.
Yes.
Oh yes. Chapter 427. This isn't the afterlife.
Oh man.
Lame.
Lame.
Yeah.
It's no, in the sub version, it's like this isn't hell, and I think
Oh damn.
that hits hard.
Yeah. It's
Hell's,
yeah, it does.
hell's too harsh for
Not in
our
my One Piece.
virgin eyes. I'm really
Yeah.
ticked off, Bradley.
Dude, Frankie and Robin are just going ham on these Navy dudes.
I love them together.
Oh yeah.
And I love that Zoro has such a casual face while dueling several dudes at once.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like Zoro is like, these guys aren't quite Zoro level. Yo, I just noticed it's the guy from Kochikame in the bottom left or bottom right.
Kochikame.
Kochikame is the incredibly long cop shonen show with the guy with the unibrow.
Yeah, I read about
Oh.
that in the question corner in the next volume.
Yeah, there he is.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was really. I think he said it was like when he wrote this issue, it was the 30th anniversary for that manga. So
right.
all of the people, I think like all of the artists who had a like issue coming out that week, hid him in their chapters of their manga.
Yeah,
Cool.
I like that.
It's really cool, man. That'd be such a cool community to be a part of.
Man, do you know what the last chapter of Naruto is, or like the last panel of Naruto is?
No.
It is the rock face mountain with Naruto on it now because he's Hokage, but Boruto has drawn the One Piece Straw Hat flag on in front of Naruto's face.
Dude.
That is the last panel in all of Naruto until Boruto starts. So the amount of respect that these guys show each other
Mhm.
is
And then-
really great.
There's a cover art later that's an homage or like a farewell to Naruto as well.
Yeah.
It's like, congrats, you finished Naruto. Now go read One Piece.
Basically.
Now go.
Now go read One Piece.
Yeah. All my peers are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, Luffy seeing Usopp here, he's like, Usopp, you came?
Oh.
Yeah.
And you know, Usopp's still like, I mean, I don't like you, Baka. I just came to save Robin. But man. Oh, dude, so Usopp offers to fight Lucci here.
Not
Yeah.
much of an offer.
the balls on this guy. Even like Lucci's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But
Sit down,
like,
dude.
I think Usopp would do it, man. Usopp would do it.
He would do
In
it.
this
I
moment.
mean, when
He's the legendary hero.
Yeah, he is the legendary hero. I think when the fight starts, he would start running away, but at that point, his strategy would have already completed.
Dude, what was okay? Y'all are gonna kill me. What was Usopp's friend that he got Mary from?
Kaya.
Oh, Kaya. Yeah.
Kaya. Can you imagine if Kaya got to see him now?
Dude, so
Oh.
if they like Oda doesn't like to explicitly write romances, but one day Usopp is going back to Kaya, and he is going
dude.
to tell her the craziest stories. Then he's going to put a little baby in her, and
Yes,
and Mary is gonna be like, "I'm so proud."
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna have a wedding, and Laboon and Gaimon are gonna be there.
Yeah. Oh man, keep that in your heart. Truly.
But dude, I want Kaya to see Usopp be this badass that he is. I want everyone in his village to see Usopp as he is.
Yeah. Remember when he was leaving and they were like, "Man, Usopp's not here today. I feel like there's an emptiness." And now,
I know, right?
them seeing the absolute hero that he's become would be so satisfying.
God, he is like at this point, even though we still have like over half the series to go, he has lived a legendary life that most people in this setting probably never will.
Yeah.
You
He
know?
survived falling off a tower literally 30 seconds ago, or like 30
Yeah.
minutes ago, I guess, in the timeline.
Yeah, right.
I think Zoro brings up, it's like, we can trust Usopp. He brought it up when they were first raiding in his lobby. It's like, we can trust Usopp. He's the weakest among us, but he's been in every single adventure with us. Like,
Yeah.
he's much tougher than he lets on.
But yeah, we get the titular line of this chapter where this isn't the afterlife, or this isn't hell.
Yeah.
Stop acting like this is the end.
Yeah.
We're not even close. And Nami's on this page also, just still kicking ass. Which it's so cool that Nami kicks so much ass.
With
dude.
Robin, the girls are back in town.
The girls are back, dude. And Luffy gets up. He does his iconic second gear pose,
Yeah.
and he's ready to go.
This is it. This is the final stretch.
And dude, I love this lunge that Lucci does for Luffy.
Yeah.
Where you see him bouncing around in one panel.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, like, I thought Luffy was already at his limit, and he gets hit with another Six King pistol. I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, is
First of
Usopp
all,
actually? I was like, "Is Usopp gonna have to come save Luffy's ass?" And then I was like, "Why are we at a point in the story where I'm asking that question?"
So a couple things to note. They have an aura muda, which is really cool. I love how Lucci uses his tail, and he makes this the ultimate radius 16 pistol, because he uses his tail to lock you in. I think that's a very cool use of that part of his body that we haven't seen really used so far.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks like it hurts so bad. Like Luffy's face of agony and Oda's use of negative,
dude,
like
blood
color.
shooting out.
Oh.
And the way that he breaks up those panels too feels like he's like just stuck there forever.
Yeah, it feels like an agony. Yeah, the little panel breaks makes it feel like an agony of pain. Good point, Joe.
And then we transfer down here. We have Usopp doing this chalkboard move that he used against Luffy.
He used it. No, he didn't use it against Luffy. He used it in Alabasta against
did he?
guards.
Okay.
Yeah. Usopp Screech.
God, I love Usopp.
God,
And y'all, we turned the page, and I looked at these two pages, and the biggest, baddest, most coolest fight-ending punch is coming up when you see flashbacks during the wind-up.
Yep.
When someone's flashing back during the wind-up of a hit, it's about to be the best.
This one's got my heart in it.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
Lucci can't believe that this motherfucker's still on.
I know, dude. His face right before this hits. Y'all, Gum Gatling.
Jet
Gatling.
Dude, I had to just pause at this page and just respect the art here.
Man, he's getting
Like, I can hear this page.
Yeah.
You have to realize Luffy's hitting so hard that he's basically toppling over himself when he's throwing these punches.
Yeah.
Like you can barely even see Lucci through the impacts.
That's
Yeah.
the use of impact lines. It's really stepped up. It's always been good in One Piece, but with Gear Second, you also have the steam impact lines. So in the first layer, you have like these steamy impact lines of where the punch came from, but then you also have where it's hitting Lucci, and it's just like chaos. And Luffy looks like he's in so much pain, and he's pushing through it.
Yeah,
Oh.
and like I love these impacts, the ones like from his arms, because Luffy is in shade, so the impacts that are supposed to represent like where his arms were milliseconds before are also in shade.
Yeah.
So good.
I think I sent you the anime clip for this. I really like this one in the
Oh,
anime as well because like the voice acting from Luffy's voice actress, and they extend the time where Luffy's Gatling instead of it being one page for once. The extension works really well.
Man,
Good finisher, man.
hell yeah.
I mean, though, even in the manga here, you get these multiple panels of it just going and going and going.
Oh God, look at his face. Like,
No, yeah, I was sitting here. I was like, is this going to be a 7-page Muda? I was like,
Now we got plot to get through, son.
yeah, you're right. But holy shit, like he laid into Lucci. And man, we have a toppled Lucci on the ground, bleeding out with the symbol of the world government on his back.
And Hattori comes back, his one friend.
Yeah. But yeah, I just love that symbolism there where
Yeah.
the Straw Hat Crew is together. Luffy beat the shit out of the strongest guy here with the world government tattoo on his back. And it's like, hey, like they obviously still have to escape, but in this moment, it's like they kind of won. They beat the government today.
Let's go back together, Robin. Oh, name a more
Oh.
iconic line.
But y'all,
I want to live.
fuck all the stuff that's happening in the main story.
It's
Fuck all
time.
that. I got to this chapter cover story where we see Neru's arc flying towards the moon. As soon as I got here, I took a picture and I sent it to you guys on Discord. And I was like, oh my God, it's actually happening. I couldn't, because this is like what I joked about for so long. And I was like, oh my God, it's real.
Oda delivers. The D stands for deliverance.
Endless Vars, the fucking moon.
We did it. We did it, gang. Our protagonist, Eneru, has finally reached his dream.
Man. But well, enough of that. Chapter 428. Chapter 428. Let's go back. Everyone's just kind of fucking happy. Luffy won. Question mark?
Reacting.
Yeah.
Even the Navy's like, okay, like we're fucked, right?
Let's wrap it up. Well, not quite. They still have the plan to sink the ship that they're on. Like they're like, we're still finishing this fight.
Yeah.
When we turn the page, we see the moment that I was going to talk about earlier, where we see the Frankie family lived, and you know, whenever they initially got blasted, I was like, okay, how the fuck could they possibly have lived through this? And like, I like what Oda did here. They kind of just weren't hit by the blast. They went down here and they were hanging off these ropes, so they were safe from the blast.
Jerry rigged something up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen that Polly is just. He basically has a devil fruit when it comes to ropes, so.
Dude,
God, Polly has such a cool moveset. I wish he was in Pirate Warriors or something.
Yeah, he'd be
Like-
good.
Yeah, he's cool. And Frankie's so happy that his family's alive.
Yeah.
So now we get to the next dilemma, where the dilemma in the last chapter was, okay, we got to beat Lucci. Now it's, okay, Luffy actually can't move.
Yeah.
We have never seen like Luffy this fucking destroyed from a fight.
I like his face. It's just like, guys, this isn't a joke. I just can't fucking do it.
Yeah. If the situation wasn't dangerous enough, the ship they were going to escape on gets blown up on the next page.
It's like, there is no meme. Help.
We do get to see where Sanji was. He had the foresight to, one, go and rescue our friends off of the escape ship, because I think they were waiting on the escape ship.
Yeah.
But that's not all he was doing.
There's more.
We're gonna find out what else he was doing in a minute. But yeah, seeing Luffy not being able to move, their ship blown up, and the bridge is fucking on fire and crumbling, and they're surrounded by all these Navy warships, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. They like, if you told me they lose here, I guess they lose here because I wouldn't be able to come up with a way
The
out.
story
We start-
proceeds to follow Kobe for the rest of the story.
Yeah.
One Piece 2.
Two piece. But then they
Two
start
Piece.
hearing a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they hear a voice, and I wasn't sure what this was going to be at first. I had been also given volume 45, and I saw Ace on the cover. So when they said there's a voice here to save them, I was like, oh, is Ace going to show up somehow? Like, was he like trailing them, watching his brother? But I was like, wait, no, he's doing errands for he's doing
Whitebeard.
Yeah, he's doing errands for Whitebeard. So I was like, he wouldn't be here. So I was like, who the fuck is going to save them? And man, the answer ends up being cooler than I could have ever imagined.
Mm-hmm.
I love everyone. Let's go back together to the high seas of adventure, and then you get the page turn, and it's the motherfucking Joe. Turn the page. The motherfucking Mary.
Dude, and I was like, how the fuck did we get the Mary here? And like, this is one of those things where I love it, and I feel like if it was in any other story, I would be like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like, how are we so cool with this? It's fantastic work by Oda.
Oda has just tempered our expectations, and he's built up this ship so much as a character in its own right, where even though it's an inanimate object, I don't think twice about the fact that it came here of its own accord.
Yeah.
Well, and he explains at the beginning, or like not at the beginning, but like Frankie goes through the whole Balterman legend.
Yeah.
And it gives it some more weight and more possibility of like, oh, this can work.
Yeah.
And so he did a great job in executing it.
Y'all, we're getting to like the saddest shit I've ever seen here in a minute. So just brace yourselves.
But first, some shenanigans with an area.
And he made it. He made it to Endless Forest. I hope he's happy up there
with all of his nothingness.
With all of his nothing.
It's everything he ever asked for.
It's everything he wanted.
Bradley got to this cover page or later, and he's just like, how can it never breathe in space?
Yeah, I was like, because I don't think I initially thought that when I read this. I think it was like later that night. I was sitting on my couch. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh my god! Yeah,
it's
wake up in bed and sweat with the Kakyoin like waking up from the baby fight meme. Where he's like, ah!
It's because the Navy was able to use their whatever technique they have for making inanimate objects eat fruits. They made the moon eat the air fruit. So it has an atmosphere.
Oh.
And that's a fact.
The moon being living is more terrifying than anything in One Piece so far.
That would be fucking terrifying.
Please stop. You're gonna give me nightmares.
It rotates with the Majora mask face.
Yeah, Majora's mask is in the dark side.
Oh.
So Joe, I think you got the answer, and it was there's an atmosphere on the moon. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's like there's an atmosphere on the moon. You don't need to worry about that much.
I thought he was using lightning lungs, which is as likely.
Lightning lungs.
Okay, sure. There's an atmosphere on the moon, but an arrow traveled through space. Please explain.
No, there's an atmosphere.
There's atmosphere tunnels. You see, like there's tunnels of atmosphere where if it's like a current, and if you hit that current, you can just breathe. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
He thought about this beforehand. He packed some oxygen tanks. We're good.
I'm a level with you, Bradley. This is some bullshit.
Yeah.
but I don't know enough about it, so we're just gonna roll with it. It's fun. Either way, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's the air fruit.
Mary.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Mary came to the rescue, and they get the Straw Hats on the boat, and Luffy's back with Robin, and he tries to thank her, and she's like, "Dude, just don't you don't gotta say anything."
Shut up,
y'all. After this moment, like for the rest of this volume, and even into the few chapters in the next volume I've read, we get so many. Like we probably get more smiles from Robin than the entire story up till now combined. Like she's just so happy with life after we leave here.
You've now been introduced to post Enies Lobby Robin, where she can be herself, and for the first time in 28 years, she can just be a normal person and show happiness.
It's great.
And not be suicidal 24/7. It's wholesome.
So Spandam, who's barely recognizable at this point, just because he got the shit beat out of him, it's kind of like as one last, like he does not want the Straw Hats to escape. He's like, fuck these guys, everyone blow them up. But the Navy's missing. They can't hit the Straw Hats, and it's because someone started closing the gates of justice, which created the famous Enies lobby current again, which is fucking up all these ships.
We did mention those before.
And yeah, like it's cool that this is an element that Oda introduced in previous volumes, so that way, like, we can do this here. Sanji tapping his fucking head like the genius he is.
I like we weren't gonna make it out of it with hard work alone, and I think that's true. I think the Straw Hats are very lucky, but Oda makes sure to add in enough layers of sacrifice and strategy to get them out of situations.
Yeah. And man, it's cool. All these Navy ships are obviously getting fucked up by the current. The Straw Hats are able to navigate through it thanks to Nami, and this exact skill we saw her do it in the Navy back fight. Like, obviously she's been navigating through currents in places besides the Navy back fight.
Yeah.
But I think that was the most similar situation to this, where it's very strong currents and they're also like under attack, and she's just on the fly able to recognize the currents and where they're going and how they need to steer. So yeah, that's just a throwback to the best arc in One Piece.
Yep. I love them using Luffy, using his body.
Yeah. It's like, man, like when Luffy can't do anything, they're still able to make use of him.
It's like, Joe, in the next page, there's one of the cutest fucking panels with Zoro and Sanji. It's so
and Luffy.
good.
Luffy's doing it too.
Dude,
I did notice Luffy.
Oh, it's so good.
And man, like, you think about I'm gonna pull something from somewhere else. We don't talk about it a lot. The Davy back fight.
Yeah.
Where they were kind of at each other's throats. They fucking hated each other, and now they're fucking doing these team attacks and they're posing together. And I'm just like, I love our boys.
I mean, just the other page, they were attacking each other, so it's all.
Yeah.
But you're right. This whole arc hinges on the Davy back fight, and you're really highlighting it. How every emotional through line of this arc was birthed in that glorious arc.
Yeah, and dude. So at the end of the next page, Robin starts wrapping arms around Spandam.
Yeah.
And we see this crick sound effect in Spandam bend over backwards. And I went on Discord, I was like, did Robin just break Spandam's fucking spine in half?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Did she kill him? Like,
no one dies in One Piece, Bradley. But
no one dies in One Piece, but holy fuck.
No one dies in One Piece, but he wishes he was dead at that moment.
Yeah.
Drinking from a straw for the rest of his life.
He has a back brace now, for sure.
He's like Breaking Bad Ted now.
Yeah, holy fuck, dude. He got destroyed here.
That's like the best, I think, kind of cathartic moment Robin could have had in probably the entirety of this arc. Yeah. Just like, all right, we're done.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of reflecting on their situation and like how they're gonna get out. And I love this moment where Usopp's like, dude, the merry-go has flown 30,000 feet in the air. Like, if it's got through that, it can get through this. And I'm like, man.
And then you're like, yeah, they're gonna ride the merry to the fucking end of the Grand Line.
I know, right? I'm
feeling you with all this hope.
And then our friends come back on the fucking sea train. And everything is just great.
It's just it's all happy from here.
And man, I just love this moment where Aokiji admits defeat. Like, everyone's like, oh, do we chase them? Can we still hit them? And Aokiji's like, no, like, guys. He even says it's obvious. Like, we obviously lost. This was a complete and utter defeat.
Isn't that interesting? Aokiji was probably there the entire time but didn't step in.
Yeah.
Huh.
He,
Was he there? That's interesting. I can't believe he wouldn't step in because like it.
Lazy justice.
I mean, but then they would be like, "Aokiji, fucking do something. You could end this in a second."
He didn't answer to nobody.
He don't answer nobody.
But I think we do know, like, obviously we don't know if someone was yelling at him to do something, but I think we do know why he wasn't stepping in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As a favor to Saul. Like in Saul's memory, he's giving Robin an amount of autonomy to like see what her life becomes, and he doesn't want to step in and intervene until he sees what becomes of her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget that on this day, Aokiji probably saved the Earth or something, because I imagine those poneglyphs. We're gonna need Robin,
Oh yeah.
So whenever we finish One Piece and we're like, oh my god, Robin was so clutch at the end, where we can just look back to this moment and be like, thanks, Aokiji.
Aokiji's a fucking hero.
What a hero.
That's very cash money of you.
That's very cash money.
And the Straw Hats, now reunited with Mary, are just like, we won the fight.
And
I'm like, you fucking did.
You did it.
You fucking did it.
Celebration time.
Yeah.
In chapter cover storyland, Aneru's looking at a big hole.
Yep. So far, still pretty normal, but
yeah,
we're about to.
Yeah, like you guys described this as a fever dream, and I'm like, oh god, I wonder where this is gonna go.
Oh god, oh my god! I'm just thinking back to every single one of those cover stories, and like you're just like, what is happening?
Great.
This chapter 430 called "A Light Snow of Reminiscence Falls." I'm like, this is either gonna be really happy or really sad or really both.
It's the best chapter in One Piece we got here.
Yeah,
it's
third time I've said this.
Fucking good, y'all. It's pretty fucking good. Usopp in this moment, I think he doesn't reveal that Sniper King is Usopp yet, right?
Yeah,
correct.
But man, everyone's just kind of happy to be back together, and everyone's like, okay, like Mary was talking to us, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we see that we kind of see that Iceberg's like, yeah, he was like, something was just telling me I had to repair Mary as much as I could, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. So like, Iceberg shows up.
Before we get there, we're gonna get to an Iceberg flashback here in a second. That really solidifies Iceberg as kind of an amazing character for me. I think he might be the most underrated character in One Piece. He's definitely up there for me. But the ship is just falling apart.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm like, because Oda hammered it in over and over from so many different characters, even our villains who had no reason to lie anymore, that the merry-go was just totally done.
Yeah. You got from like every perspective, the good guys, the bad guys, and the people that had no stakes in the fight at the time, basically, Yeah.
Like, and they even explained, like, from a practical reason why no ship with its problem would be able to sail anymore. So I'm like, in this moment, I was very happy to have the merry-go back, but I'm like, is it really, really back? And the answer will shock you.
Given Oda's track record, this is maybe the most shocking thing so far. I love this flashback. So Iceberg is just like, I get this feeling I should go fix this ship, and then he hears the voice of the Mary, and then he just works tirelessly that night. This is after he's been shot, by the way. He alone fixes the Mary, and then it just sails off.
Yeah, and like he did this, like you said, all night by himself after being shot when the town was just ravaged by the Aqua Laguna. And he did this without like a practical reason to do it. This is just like the ship was just speaking to him. Like he's like, I have to do this.
This is such a
like anyone else could have called him crazy.
Yeah. It's so good. And then the fact that like as he's turning around, a wave just takes the Mary away. He's like, "What the fuck did I just see?" Like that.
Yeah,
look
it's
on his
hauling
face.
ass.
Yeah.
That ship is fucking going.
The ship is hauling ass. And I mean, as a shipwright, this is like a moment that probably gives you chills and helps you. Like, I don't know, man. This must have been a really impactful moment for him.
I think this was the moment where Iceberg kind of fully understands what Tom was going at, where like, you don't have the right, to determine what a thing is. It's only that thing's responsibility to be that.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, oh, I get it. Like, this is the choice it's making. Like, what am I supposed to do?
What an amazing 2 pages between a man and a boat.
And when we come out of the flashback, Iceberg says, "I'm looking at a miracle. This is a ship that's gone beyond its limits." I've been a shipwright for many years, and I've never seen a pirate ship as incredible as this one. It lived a splendid life. I'm getting goosebumps just reading this dialogue.
Iceberg laying it down.
Holy fuck. And dude, like, the look on everyone's faces, like at the bottom of this page, Luffy just has this kind of like
it's time
look where he's like resigned, like he knows what he has to do, but it's not sad. Like he's just accepting fate, and like Nami's face is she's so sad, and Usopp has the mask on, but just from his body language you can know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, man, and Luffy pulls out this torch, and as soon as you see that torch, you know where this is going. And I was still like in denial. I was like, no, we can still save the Mary, but I don't know. I guess I'm living in, pre-Water 7 Usopp land, but while Usopp himself has moved along, and
that's true, man. Like
that's what we need to do.
Where Usopp was like in denial, like what it's happening now. We're in denial. But Usopp has moved on, and now if you criticized him earlier for not moving on, and now you're in his place, it's like it's an interesting position you could be put in. And then you get all these flashbacks. Everyone has a different reaction. It's very telling.
Man, they're giving this going away speech to the Burning Mary, and it starts talking to them.
Everybody gangsta until the ship starts talking.
Dude, and it starts snowing, which like just reminded me of Drum Island when it snows at the end of that arc.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And like all this stuff they're saying is so sad, like reflecting on their memories, and it's like you would break down and Usopp would try his best to fix you, and we tried to take care of you, but Sanji and Zoro are idiots, and
I would crash you into icebergs and stuff.
And we get pictures of all these like chapters from like we get pictures of stuff from like 300 plus chapters ago where Zoro's on Luffy's seat, and I'm very upset right now.
It's so good, and I think the anime also does this so well. Like particularly when Luffy starts breaking down, the voice acting is so good.
Yeah. And I forgot about this fucking line right here, kind of like as they first start burning it, where when Luffy's first setting fire to it, he says, maybe it's a good thing Usopp isn't here. He wouldn't be able to stand this. And, Zoro, who isn't an idiot, leans over to Sniper King. He's like, how about it?
That's not true.
And, Usopp has, he has come out of the Water 7 arc as a new man. And he's like, we must all part someday. This is a farewell between men. And, like to him, the Mary go as a person. This is a farewell between men.
I mean,
but also he's saying like between Luffy and the Mary.
Yeah.
But he's saying it for himself as much as Luffy and Mary.
It's very interesting, Nami and Zoro's reactions, where Nami, like, she can be cold and on the exterior, but she's so loving for this crew. And then Zoro is cold on the exterior, but he will not crack. But you can tell he's really contemplating on his time there.
Yeah, because, Zoro's very focused on this, he's not like he's not like laying off to the side, slacker pose or something, he's
Yeah, it's like, I need to witness this, and I need to process it, and I need to keep my emotions in check. I'm Zoro, I'm the right-hand man, and one of our crewmates is dying.
The fact that Usopp didn't totally lose his composure here is it's crazy.
But man, did he cry.
Yeah.
And man, like Mary talking to them. Like, you sent me the clip in the anime of this, which was the saddest shit I've ever seen.
She hits him with the she hits him with the gummin.
Man.
Oh.
Luffy's like, he's doing the ugly cry, apologizing to Mary, like, we could have done more to take care of you. And Mary's like, no, I was happy. I was happy. You guys were so good to me.
And then everyone starts hearing the voice, including Galila. That's so cool.
Yeah, and like, this is another one of those things where if it was in any other story, I'd be like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
But in One Piece, I'm like, yeah, of course they can hear the boat. And I don't think twice about it.
Thank you for caring about me. What a nice closure to Tom's themes as well.
Yeah, and this is the part where, you know, Usopp finally starts to crack a little bit under his mask. And Nami, I don't know if she's cried that hard since Arlong Park.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Even Frankie's fucking dying, and he's known these people for a few days.
Frankie's a sob.
Yeah. Frankie's a sucker for sob stories.
Yeah.
And like,
That's a great character trait.
you can, like you said, like looking at Zoro's face, you can tell that just the pure focus he has on this scene, despite his face being so stoic, like, you know how much this is affecting him. Like, that's how he copes with these emotions.
Yeah.
You know,
You contrast that with Sanji's face, where it seems like he's trying to hide it a little bit more, where he's like, I might crack.
yeah.
I need to take it easy.
Oh, y'all, that's the thing. Oda finally fucking killed a character. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, when Oda finally decides to kill a character on screen and it's not in the flashback, it's a boat, and yet he made this 1,000 times sadder than if an actual human being died. That is amazing.
It is amazing, and I think that's everyone says it, like, they're like, man, Oda made us all cry over a boat, and it's true. He got us all. He fucking suckered us all. He played us like damn fiddles, and that's just the Oda special.
I read this chapter, and I went on Discord and I was like, you know what? I think I can finally call it. I read the chapter. I was like, I think I can finally call it. For a long time, like, Berserk has been my favorite manga ever since I read it a few years ago. And it's ongoing, and it had been over half a year since the last chapter came out because it's always on hiatus. So I read this chapter and I was like, man, like, I've been thinking about it for a long time. And I think after this chapter, I can finally say that One Piece has taken the spot as my favorite manga. And I'm like, you know, that'll probably change when the next Berserk chapter comes out. But I think One Piece is my favorite manga now. And within the hour,
literally within the hour,
a new Berserk chapter comes out. And what's amazing about that is usually with Berserk, they announce a new chapter coming out months in advance. There was no forewarning for this. I said, this is my favorite manga until a new chapter of Berserk comes out. Within the hour, suddenly I'm getting texts from my friend, and he's like, oh my fucking god, new Berserk chapter came out. I was like, oh, okay, that's great.
So where are we sitting after that new Berserk chapter? Where's One Piece ranking?
They're probably back to neck and neck.
Yeah.
It's pretty neck and neck, dude. One Piece is...
we had a good hour run.
Yeah.
One Piece is a better manga. I will say that. Like, I can't... Like, One Piece is the best manga.
There
probably.
It is, folks.
Personal enjoyment,
You heard it here.
they're neck and neck. But, like, Oda is the best at creating this medium.
Yeah.
Like, he is the master.
It's true. It's true.
Everyone buy Toriko, okay?
Got it.
No,
So
wait, no,
Brad-
everyone buy Rurouni Kenshin. That's the
Okay.
first one.
We
And then
talked-
Toriko's after
We
that.
talked about this. That guy's not okay.
Yeah, he's kind of... You know, ever since you told me that he was a pedophile, like, I think ever since you told me that, there was one day where I was like, oh, I'll go back and watch a few episodes of Rurouni Kenshin, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, they like these two little girls a little too much in this story.
We've had this exact conversation last time where Nori Kenshin was
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this anymore.
Buy One Piece, support Oda.
So Bradley,
Yo,
you've just finished the Enies Lobbies arc,
yes,
which means
dude, 5 out of 5.
okay.
Boom. Does this
If
change?
someone- If
No,
someone
you are still
less
in the
than a-
lead currently.
If
by
someone gives
one.
this any less than a perfect score, they're not human and deserve to die in real life.
True.
Yeah. So, to give you some updates, Bradley, the next volume you have is basically the last arc in the Water 7 arc. It's kind of like a weird half arc because it's really just like the epilogue of the entire saga.
But it's counted as there's enough that happens.
Yeah.
In it's all one volume too, but a lot happens, so people count it as like a mini arc, I guess.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, obviously, a lot of the next volume is kind of like, okay, we got to wrap up Water 7. Everyone got to say their goodbyes. We got to figure out where we're going.
Yeah.
And man, looked at that cover art for volume 45, and I was like, all of these people are not allowed to be in the same place. All of these people are not supposed to be here right now. I think I was at your apartment because you gave it to me in person, and
Yeah, it was.
I was like, no, what are these people doing here?
Well, I guess you'll have to find out. Hopefully
I wonder.
sooner rather than later. Nudge, nudge.
Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
Before we lose you to Terraria forever, it'd be cool if you.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be deadly.
So, but yeah, then after that volume, you will be in the next saga of One Piece, and I'm gonna stop telling you what the saga titles are because those get really spoily.
I will say it's the last saga before the time skip, where you're there.
Second to last.
I guess I wrapped it into the bigger saga, but whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, you're getting there, buddy. You're getting there.
Big plot progress.
Yes, very excited. I'm excited for next volume. Next volume has a really small moment. That's one of my favorite moments of One Piece.
Next volume is gonna have the Bradley chapter.
Oh fuck.
Will it?
Yes.
We're finally gonna get to see full Nami.
No.
Full frontal Nami.
Full frontal.
Bradley's favorite boy. Gets
Yes, that's
Oh.
right.
My boy.
the Bradley chapter.
Yes.
Anyways, please join us next time as we talk about Volume 45.
Yeah.
And never stop dreaming.
Ah!